Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Cardboard Cast. I am your host, Etchy. Joining me here is the one and only Victor Aung, the Lost Box Master, and I guess Urshifu Master as well. How you doing?
I'm good. Excited to see Lost Box make it to the finals. It's not a build that I
Yeah.
personally would play, but it is cool seeing a different take on the deck for sure.
It's a really interesting take, and its strengths have been pretty apparent in a lot of these last matches. Like Cross Switcher, Roxanne, kind of disgusting play. And the Spirit Tomb has been putting in a lot of work as well. Like, without Spirit Tomb, you probably just lose that Lugia set every time, and it was still really close even with it. But
yes,
it could have been so much like with exactly how that played out. Like, no Spirit Tomb would have made a huge difference. So,
right.
Totally yeah, I think we got our finals now. It's going to be Arthur again, who we just saw in the last round against the name I forget. We'll see in a second. Playing Mew VMAX, Fusion Mew, and Fusion Mew is a pretty interesting build, and we'll talk about it as we get into the game here. So are you ready, Vic?
I am.
I hope chat is ready. Here we go. Pokemon Championships Regional Finals.
So Fusion Mew, I mean, reports of its death have been greatly exaggerated, it seems, because it's here in the finals, alive and well. I think the way the meta has shaped up, Lost Box playing Tomb over Drapion kind of means that Fusion Mew is favorable into pretty much every deck in the format except Charizard. That's the only deck that you have to avoid. And if you can do that, you're in a good spot to do well, to get all the way up to the finals, as we see Arthur using that Ditto with the transformative start.
And yeah, like as we've seen from not just this tournament, but the last few tournaments, Charizard very popular, top 2 in like every one of the last 3 regionals in usage for day 1, and then it just falls off a cliff day 2, right? So, if you can get past day 1 with Mew VMAX, with that Fusion Mew, then you're just good. You're just fine. So, and that's what happened here. Got past day 1, no problem. On to day 2 now, and very few Charizards remaining at this point. Just don't hit them. And if you do hit them, a loss is the end of the world. Konsta got here with 3 losses, so if those are all Charizards, then, it's fine.
Looking at the match history for Konsta actually hit 1 Zard and was able to beat it in round 5.
Wow.
His opponent, though, did drop at 2-2-1, so I'm not really sure what that's about.
Right. It might have been depends on what build, I guess, of Zard they were running to.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly what's in Konsta's list either. So maybe they got the early path down early on.
I think it's winnable, just not a good matchup.
For sure.
And so if you hit 1, definitely could find yourself here in the finals. I believe Konsta won, I think 5 of their 6 games in day 2 to make it to top 8. Now on a warpath, trying to stop Arthur from taking over the tournament with their cross switcher Lost Zone deck.
Right. And yeah, it's interesting to think about that matchup because like generally if they get 2 Zards up, you probably just lose. But you also have Meloetta, which can actually one-shot the Zards with the help of Power Tablets, so maybe it's not that doomer if you at least get a KO with it. But it's still a lot of work to set that up. So we're actually seeing the Mew VMAX come down immediately from Arthur. That Mew VMAX, or that Spirit Tomb, Spirit Tomb's coming down against the Mew VMAX, and it, while it is very good, as we saw a few rounds ago against DTE Mew, it is not as effective against Fusion Mew. I'll pull up the reason why here. Do you want to explain why that is?
Yeah, Fusion Mew kind of has a built-in counter to Spirit Tomb already in the deck. You do have those Fusion Strike energies, which normally you would use on something like a Meloetta or a Mew VMAX to attack with, but in this case, you can actually attach them to your Genesect, which would prevent all effects of abilities done to that Pokemon, which means that in a roundabout way, the Spirit Tomb can't affect Genesect's ability with its ability, can't shut it off, that is, which means you can use your Genesect ability to draw cards. So turns out, pretty good way to stop Spirit Tomb from happening if you don't do anything to your Genesect to have energy.
Right. We saw in the past what people would do to counter this is you could play Giacomo. It was common in Rapid Strike a few months ago, or like a month or 2 ago, where you would play down Spirit Tomb to bait them into playing down all the Fusion Strike energy and spreading it, and then you just use Giacomo to get rid of it all. But there's nothing like that in this deck, and in general, the card is not very useful outside of that. So Not very popular slash common now. And without anything like that, the Spiritomb is only a minor hindrance. It can sometimes force them to just break out of games completely if they just don't have a good starting hand. And that is kind of the hope for Arthur here, is benching it down turn 1 and just hope it kind of stops the opponent enough. But without that, this can be a pretty tough situation. And again, Konsta playing that Fusion Mew does have the option to actually attack turn 2 the way DT Mew does not. Specifically with combination of Alessa Sparkle and this Meloetta. You can also do a Psychic Leap with the Mews as well, but usually you're seeing Melodious Echo for the extra damage. You don't necessarily need the extra damage here, though, because Psychic Leap from Mew V also is enough to KO a Comfey.
So Psychic Leap an option. Some Fusion Mews get to play that Ice Cube with the Block Slider attack. I don't think it's in Konsta's list, but it would be pretty helpful if it is.
Right.
We see that Forest Sealstone Star Alchemy come through to grab that Alessa Sparkle, and what we were just talking about is going to come online.
Yep, there's the Alessa Sparkle, and just has to draw into specific cards. Okay, it's going to put the 2 on the Genesect, so we're not actually going to see the turn 2 first turn going second attack here, but we are going to see at least some draw power.
I think it's just a little bit too risky to attach a Fusion Energy to your Mew, because that does leave you with 1 Fusion Strike system for the rest of the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless you start drawing into more Fusion Energy and then manually attach them or whatnot, but you just need the draw power. I think you're okay with whiffing 1 turn of attacking as long as you get set up and squared away for the rest of the game.
Right. Yeah, it's better to be able to just play the game in general than get a turn 1 KO, unless that turn 1 KO does like win you the game, right? So the first Genesect coming down again. Only the 2 Genesects that have Fusion Strike Energy are able to use their Fusion Strike system ability, thanks to that Spiritomb, and that may just be enough to get through here. Gonna think about benching that other Genesect. That's all 3 Forest Sealstones coming down here, and is going to zone 1 and another Genesect with it. Gonna Fusion Strike system some more. These Lost Vacuums very effective just for thinning out the hand.
We do see the Ice Cube with the Block Slider, and that is something that could come into play. Unfortunately for Konsta, 2 Fusion Energy have already been used. So the Block Slider probably not going to be an option this game, but could matter in a game later on in the series.
Throwing on the Ice Cube as fodder there. Has Judge ready to go next turn. And yeah, that Ice Cube could be spicy later. Could be spicy. Very solid turn 2 attacker option if needed.
It's a great way to knock out a Spiritomb.
Yep.
Which does open up your Genesects back into being able to draw. Arthur, though, this turn is ready to just attack with Cram. That's probably what he's going to do, but if he is able to get off to a pretty hot start, you can do something a little bit better, like such as a Rope Raikou knockout, Greninja, Moonlight Shuriken, 2 Genesects. That's an option as well. Not quite there yet, though. No, there's no chorus.
Right. Okay, surely canceling Clone will be good in this matchup, right?
Unfortunately, I do not think the Clone does anything except
be
put away by Lost Vacuum.
This is so sad. We're never going to see that Clone be actually useful at all.
It probably helps in Mirror, though.
I'm sure. That's probably helped Arthur get to this point, right?
Yeah. Very cool.
So I think we're just going to get a Spit Innocently here from the Urgle, aka Cramorant. Again, being able to attack for free thanks to 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Oh, wait, did it? Yeah, attack the Ice Cube. Yep. So, Judge coming down now for Konsta. Judge, very powerful disruption, especially against Lost Box decks.
Judge plus a knockout here would put Konsta in a really good position. Arthur has to piece together some way to get an attack going next turn if he wants to keep the pressure on. Either a Moonlight Shuriken or a Lost Mine or a Rope Raikou knockout. We do see the Ultra Ball, so the attack will happen, thankfully, for Konsta.
Yeah, Chromatic and Fusion Strike Energy and DT here. Gonna choose to keep the Fusion Strike. Makes sense just to get another Genesect online and active with that Spiritomb ready to go. Gonna grab that Mew VMAX, and we'll see some sort of attack here. I'm not sure. Was there another card on the bench besides these three Genesects?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so this
So
is gonna
Konsta does need to
just be
find
it.
another Mew,
Yeah.
ideally, just to start setting that up.
It looks like just a
Something that
Technoblast then, yeah.
that is interesting is that Arthur did choose to knock out that Ice Cube, which does mean that Konsta will probably most likely respond by never benching another one prizer. So
Mm-hmm.
you do have to force your opponent through a Mew VMAX and a Genesect or three Genesects still. And Arthur, being that he doesn't play the Drapion, I mean, both of those routes sound pretty tough. You have
Yeah.
to get through a lot of health, pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd want to do something like Horn back the Ice Cube and then knock out Ice Cube again and then knock out two Genesects. That would be a little bit cleaner.
Right.
But I don't think Arthur plays the Horn.
I don't
You have
think
to
we've
make
seen
room
Horn
for
from Arthur. Yeah, we saw
yeah.
Horn from another Lost Box player earlier. Two Mew Vs coming down now, so yeah, like you said, no more single prizers coming in. Meloette is going to stay in the deck for now. And can't Psychic Leap if there's a tab. Oh, no, need two tablets, so this is probably just Technoblast.
Yeah, I don't think you want to leap here. I think you want to save those tablets for later.
Attaching the
I
Choice
think
Belt, going to attach it to the active. Insects for three more cards now. Again, 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play equals you can draw until you have 6 cards. Gets Rope, gets Switch Card. So a lot of options here, even if you are forced to Technoblast this turn. Again, the main downside of Technoblast is that you have to retreat or do something to get rid of the effect on your Pokemon, because otherwise you can't attack again. That is the way Technoblast works. It does have the Path in play, but there's not a point in playing it here when you actually do have your Genesects available to play. He's going to play it, though, because as long as you have the Vacuums to get rid of it your next turn, you're totally fine. Did burn a lot of Vacuums already, but I'm not sure if there's something in hand to deal with it. Also just has kind of a good hand anyway. Doesn't really need to Genesect next turn necessarily.
mm-hmm. So
Another
now,
Cross Switcher hitting the zone.
how does Arthur respond here?
Flower Slithing's coming down. Heavy Ball and Psychic. Not ideal. Arthur checking what is in the prize cards. Seeing if there's anything to grab with Heavy Ball. Thinking about it still. Might be taking that Heavy Ball. Does have energy to conceal cards regardless here.
I wonder what's in there. I don't think we got to see. Could be like a
Yeah, I don't
Raikou
know.
or a Sableye.
It's got to be something if he's doing this. So, gonna play
Yeah.
this soon. Heavy Ball. It's a Sableye, so I think it's it.
So 6 in the Lost Zone for Arthur. What is the play this turn? Does it have to be just a pass? I mean, concealed, but there's path in play, so that's not going to do anything just yet
Oh,
unless
right. Yeah, the path.
Arthur bumps it.
Yeah, it's going to
And
be
I
a
think it's just a
pass.
pass.
Top deck the Vacuum. So yeah, I can just
So
switch easily
Konsta,
here. Might just keep the path in play
yeah,
just
I
for
think
more
so.
annoyance.
I mean, you don't really need much else this turn, at least.
All right, gonna play Alessa's.
Tapping the Genesect, interestingly enough, and failing.
Failing.
Maybe one is prized or one is in the hand or something, or just choosing to save the energy.
Right, and kind of an interesting thing with Genesect that usually doesn't come up in Fusion Mew, but can be relevant here is that you can't actually use this attack if you do have two Fusion Strike energies on it. So there it is. It looks like it was in hand. So that Genesect can attack later if you just attach a double turbo to it, and can be important.
It also could retreat in theory if it comes down to it.
Right.
Like something like a boss stall play, not possible on that Genesect anymore. or sorry, cross switcher stall play with Arthur's build of the deck. No bosses.
See if Arthur can get anything useful here off this first flower selecting. Can't quite see what's in there yet.
Arthur basically needs to attack this turn. If he doesn't,
Right.
I think the game has gotten out of control. We're seeing the Raikou hit the Lost Zone actually, so I mean that's a pretty good attacker in this matchup as well. Not necessarily required to take these last 5 prizes, but usually a piece of the puzzle, usually a piece of the equation. Now, what Arthur can do is maybe Greninja, 2 Genesects, then Sableye. That in 3 turns you can take 4 prizes. But where does the
Right.
5th come from?
Right. A couple games ago, you mentioned potentially like doing Genesect on like 2 Mew VMAXs as a potential option sometimes, but there's not real. That's not an option here, obviously. And kind of a weird option if you do go for it too. Kind of, it's still like it still makes it really hard to get your last 2 prizes, even if you do get one of the Mews.
Right.
But it looks like we are getting some sort of Genesect play.
You mean Greninja?
Sorry, Radiant Genesect, yeah. Shuffling up now. So, yeah, what do you it'll probably just be the 2 Genesects, right? That's what we saw Arthur do in previous games too.
Yeah. And then just like hope that Roxanne forces Konsta to whiff an attack after a Techno Blast or something. I don't know. But it kind of has to be. So you can do 90-90, and then 2 more Sableyes would KO Genesect. And then if you do it in that order, Konsta should be at 2 prizes. After that, so Konsta after this one turn will be at 3, Sableye. Konsta will be at 2, Sableye again. Konsta will actually be at 1 prize. So at that point, you would need to do something like a Rope Dragonite or Cross Switcher Dragonite because Raikou is in the Lost Zone.
Right.
So a lot to be asking for. You have to Sableye, Cross Switcher Dragonite.
Yeah, being able to keep the
Which,
Raikou would have been a lot easier. It's just one less card, one less piece needed,
yeah,
right? So I think are we seeing the Technoblast? No, switch card. Okay, I was hoping for it. Would have been fun. But yeah, switch card there, pretty brutal. I don't know what other kind of healing / recovery Consta's running. Probably no Penny. Might just be the 2 switch cards.
the one switch card alone doesn't change the math too
Right.
much for Konsta and for Arthur, because you can clean up this 1 Genesect on the bench and add some more damage counters to that one that's already damaged. But if Konsta draws into that other switch card and gets a second heal off, that changes the game significantly
Right.
from Arthur being in a not so great position to basically an almost unwinnable one, unless something like Roxanne comes into play, and even that seems like a reach given how many Fusion Strike systems Konsta has access to.
All right, so there's the Max Miracle coming down with the Power Tablet. Normally that would do 110 thanks to the double turbo energy, but the Power Tablet is enough to KO the Radiant Greninja. That's another draw supporter just gone for Arthur. So has Flower Select here, VIP. Probably not taking that. I think it was another Comfey off of that. And kind of a not great hand situation. Just a lot of Comfeys, or 1 Comfey and some switch cards, capabilities to switch. Hopefully draw something good here. Arzon Zone took the rope, I believe. That is still 9 in the zone, it looks like. Nest Ball for another Comfey would get there if there was one available. There it is. So with that and the rope, that's 10. And then if you get some way to charge up the Sableye, you can at least do something here.
You can do something, but will it win you the game?
Escape rope coming down. Can remote the other Mew VMAX for Konsta. Third Comfey coming down, flower selecting. There's a gate, so at least attack is here.
You can attack with Sableye this turn, but your resources are falling fast. They're fading away
Right.
as we speak. Like we mentioned before, Arthur doesn't play the Clara because you He does play that double Roxanne, and it doesn't combo well with playing that many supporters. But it does mean that recharging these Sableyes, getting them out, Sablying over and over and over again, is harder to do for Arthur.
Right. I'm gonna warn chat now. It looks like my computer is locking up, so I might just crash shortly. If that happens, we will resume from where we were. Just fair warning. It doesn't look like my stream's crashing, but is actually attaching one to the Comfey and keeping one there just for another pivot later, and is going to take the KO on the Genesect and set up more damage on the other one.
There is something to be said about not taking a KO here and just setting up damage, because you are at Roxanne now, Roxanne range, if Konsta plays it. So we'll see if that ends up mattering. Looks like it's a Tails.
I think that is in fact a Tails. It's very hard to tell, but yes.
But the thing about Arthur's hand is that it was pretty terrible. So I think Arthur just deciding that he needed to take prizes. You can't rely on your opponent disrupting you out of a bad hand into a good one. So the pressure is on for Arthur. Will probably continually get hand disrupted, and needs to find basically the perfect cards. I don't even know if they exist anymore. Basically, Sableye this next turn. Hope that Konsta didn't find Switch Cart this turn, and then Dragonite the turn after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so part 1 has been accomplished. Konsta did not find that Switch Cart.
Right.
So this Genesect is still in range of another Sableye. Arthur needs to be able to do that this turn.
Gonna play down the heavy ball.
Arthur already knows that there is no basic to grab off of it, so going to Roxanne. And the disruption, not going to be too big of an element off this card. Normally, that is the biggest reason why you do play it. But in this case, the drawing 6 and just playing it as a, as a Professor Oak's new theory, if you will, for any retro enjoyers, is pretty good. Just having extra copies of Draw Spores in your deck in the late game makes it a little bit more likely to see that Sableye Psychic. And there it is, Sableye Psychic Energy. Dragonite in hand as well with a water. So we're getting awfully close to that play that we were mentioning.
It could happen. This could be reasonable. There's a cross switcher in there.
I think Konsta's going to have to dig deep for... Oh, cross switcher in hand now. Chorus having to hit the discard. Arthur knowing that this is pretty much the only game plan. I think Konsta's going to have to dig deep for hand disruption this turn. And he knows it.
Sableye gonna come down here. Now this is only one active Genesect for Konsta, which is
true.
Kind of rough. Maybe not taking the KO?
No, it's just putting the dice down because that is 190.
Okay.
That
makes sense. Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to do the math.
Okay. Konsta. 1 Genesect. No path in play. Cram. This Cram heads would be huge, would be massive. I think changes the game completely if he gets it.
Wow.
Is there a Roxanne in deck? Is there any hand disruption? Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe they're all gone.
Maybe. Can't quite... I think that's 2 bosses? Looks like. It's just going to grab a Mew VMAX, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any hand disruption cards in the deck.
Oh, wow.
I don't think we saw Roxanne being this card, but maybe Konsta doesn't play it, or maybe it's prized.
Right.
I don't know, but now it's looking like...
Was it in hand?
What was...
It is. Okay.
Ooh, okay. Sorry. I
okay, we're good.
I thought the Cram mattered. It didn't. Konsta was holding on to the Roxanne the whole time.
Okay, it looks like my computer unlocked up, so I think we're good now.
Great. As chat says, cardboard crash.
For real. I'm very surprised it recovered. Usually it's just game over when that happens. So Should say that
Okay.
actually. We could still be very bad, but now I have control of the card pop up now. Yay!
Arthur needs a lot going next turn. Needs Dragonite, needs Energy, needs Mirage Gate, needs Double Cross Switcher, probably needs Super Rod. But we do see the Seal Stone in hand, and Arthur has not Beast Art yet, so that is a great first step. Nest Ball.
That's a beach. That's a Nest Ball. That's
Nest
pretty
Ball
good.
and Beach Court and Gate and Seal Stone. How many energy are in the deck?
No, because he needs the Cross Switcher still, right?
He needs Cross Switcher. I guess you can Chorus. There's only one energy in deck, so I don't think you can play the Gate before you Super Rod. So I think you have to Seal Stone for Chorus. Can you Seal Stone for anything else? Can you Seal Stone for Roxanne instead? You need Rod. You need Energy. You need Double Cross Switcher. And you have Seal Stone. So Chorus won't be enough. You have to Roxanne and just hope.
Oh, man. That's scary.
Well, I guess you can... No, Chorus might be enough because you can retreat into Comfey. But you would still need to hit like perfectly. So I think Roxanne makes more sense even though you have Gate in hand. So Seal Stone gone. Roxanne being played now.
Oh, jeez.
6 cards. Energy, Super Rod, Gate, Double Cross Switcher.
There's like 10 cards in deck. This is not super great odds.
And I think there's only one energy.
Yeah. You gotta hit like so many pieces here. Jeez.
Yeah. And you do get one more flower selecting though.
Right.
Because Cross Switcher would get you out of a Comfey. Show us the hand, Arthur, please.
It's gonna do that other flower selecting, so it didn't automatically draw the sauce. It's like 3 cards left in deck.
Piece? Okay, we see the energy. Vacuum Chorus is not helpful. Energy, Steel Stone already used, Super Rod, Cross Switcher, but no Gate.
No Gate.
I didn't see the Gate.
Yeah.
So there's one Gate left and one Water Energy left in deck. And if any of those were on your bottom like 3 cards or so, you don't have game. And I think that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, really tough. I mean, you were asking for a lot, so it's not that surprising to not hit it, but I guess you go for... I mean, you try to stall, I guess. Flower selecting again. Possible. Super Rotting back in the Greninja and 2 energy, both necessary for the Dragonite. Yeah, that Dragonite V has its Dragon Gale attack. That is how it is going to try to win this game. Just using that to knock out a Genesect, but the pieces did not line up for Arthur here. Flower selecting going down. Gets the Gate. Yeah. And is going to scoop here.
So close. 1 piece off. Almost getting there, but that Roxanne on that final turn, locking up the game for Konsta.
Extremely, extremely close there. And yeah, just the constant disruption, just a huge problem. Those Roxannes and the judges were just really well timed to like slow down anything Arthur was trying. And even then, Arthur still had to like try for a very unlikely play just for this to work out decently. And just barely missed it.
Another benefit to the Cross Switcher build, makes it a little bit more likely because you can use your supporter for turn to dig for that Gus instead of having to have the Gus in hand.
Right.
A little bit more likely, I say, because you do need 2 pieces in hand instead of just the 1 boss. So there is a bit of a trade-off there. But overall, I think this line definitely a little bit more likely with Arthur's build and how he chose to run this Lost Box deck.
Right.
We saw that that Ice Cube knockout in the beginning of the game didn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
Arthur was forced down to play a 7-prize game. Without Drapion, you have no real good way of taking out a Mew VMAX, given that Psychic Leap is always an option. We saw also Spiritomb making it awkward for Konsta, but not awkward enough.
see. Requirement being
Urgle in the
prized. Oh, there's an
prized.
Avery for Konsta too.
Oh, okay.
Very spicy if pulled out at the right time. Not super scary in this matchup, but I mean, if it happens at the worst possible time, then it can be really bad. Steel cards going down here.
Lightning and
Flower
Rod are not cards
selecting.
that you want to see
I don't think that's a VIP in there.
turn 1. I think there's a heavy ball.
Gets the
The
Urgle.
raw heavy ball. Hoping for a comfy, but just grabbing a cram instead. No Spiritomb.
No
This game.
Spiritomb. I think there's a VIP in hand. It looks like it.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's prize. That's prize.
Okay,
So
we'll
this
see.
is just going to be it for Arthur's first turn.
Will Konsta get that fabled turn 1 knockout, either with Meloetta or Ice Cube or Mew V? Definitely possible when there's no Spiritomb in play. I think that is the one annoying part of Spiritomb. Actually, Arthur going to bench the Manaphy, retreat into it, and use it as fodder, respecting that Konsta is going to go for that turn 1 KO if he can.
The nice thing too, if you do go for the Meloetta, you can still Elisa Sparkle one of the energies to your Genesect, and you can do any attach, whether it be Double Turbo or Fusion Strike to hand. If you can do the Double Turbo, then you're saving your Fusion Strikes for your Genesect for later, because you know that Spiritomb is coming down, and your damage will still be fine. So if that does happen, could be fine. I don't think the hand lends itself for that though. Right here, yeah.
Konsta's hand looks terrible.
It does have Elisa. No Genesect. I think there's an Ultra Ball in there.
I see a cram, but
Arthur's hand. Sorry, that was on Konsta's.
Yeah. No, sorry, I meant Cram-O-Matic.
Oh.
I see a Cram-O-Matic, but not much else, to be honest. You said you saw an Ultra Ball, maybe?
That might have been the Cram.
Okay.
Matic.
Yeah, Cram Path Boss Roxanne. Oh.
Yeah,
Spiritomb isn't needed if that's the hand.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of scary because if you do attach the other Fusion Strike to this Ice Cube, even if you did have it, then that's 3 of your Fusion Strike energy is gone if that Spiritomb does come down later. But
we're gonna see the energy mix.
Yep.
Not an attack that Mew ever wants to be using, but is an option in this situation. Energy mix does allow you to search your deck for any energy card and attach it to one of your Fusion Strike Pokemon, Konsta choosing that Double Turbo energy, attaching it to Mew V. The hand is super, super dead. No Genesect on board. It's like Spiritomb was here the whole time.
Yeah, missing going second is just ridiculous and super unlucky. Because you usually, you have draw supporters to maybe draw into them. There's only one Genesect prize too, so it's just super unlikely for Konsta here.
Arthur now. Can he punish this slow start? Ideally, he would do something like Raikou attack, but probably not in the cards given that he only has 3 in the Lost Zone after that Chorus.
These cross switchers keep getting zoned immediately. Maybe you should only play 2. I don't know. Maybe just play 3. So you
I think you have to play 4. And if you play 4, you're almost never going to be able to use it twice.
Yeah.
It's just like instead of playing one boss, you're trading like boss plus like a rope or 2 for like some cross switchers.
Right.
You still get the one gust off, but it is sometimes easier to find because you can just support her into it instead of having to find your raw boss. It's definitely a trade-off.
For sure.
We see Arthur go up to 4 in the Lost Zone. We could cram this turn. Do we want to? I guess Konsta's start was so slow that you probably should.
Yeah, and getting some damage on a Mew is pretty decent here. Again, the Ice Cube is like very funky. There's more reason to, if you play Rope, if they do throw the Ice Cube, there's more reason to go for it just because it has energy attached. But you do have your own Manaphy down, so it's not that scary. Looks like retreat might have happened already? No. Okay. So Spit innocently going down, 110 on the Mew V. Again, if that evolves, that does put it in range to let's see, Raikou or Dragonite, depending on what the board state is like. And if it doesn't evolve, you can Sableye it potentially too.
We have Forest Seal Stone, which means that Konsta is going to get out of this brick. Thankfully, I was worried that maybe Konsta should have used Energy Mix to attach another Fusion Energy to Ice Cube so you get an attack off. Obviously, Arthur has Manaphy in play, but Ice Cube is able to attack that active with that Block Slider attack if they so choose.
Right.
But probably going to be fine. I think just Seal Stone for the judge here. So as long as Konsta finds a way to get Mew VMAX or some Genesect to start drawing some cards, should be okay.
Did Spiritomb go down for Arthur? I don't remember. I don't think it did, right?
I don't think so. Yeah. So Konsta still has another turn of drawing cards if he finds them. Something like an Ultra Ball would be good. Mew VMAX, Feather Ball. Lots of good cards he could hit here.
Let's see what this judge does. Double Turbo, Mew V, tablet, and
oh,
wow.
Okay, those
Brutal.
are not the cards you want to see. Just mentioned how there were so many good cards to hit, and none of those are in there.
Simply do not hit them. Unfortunate.
You can attach the DTE to Mew and leap,
that's just going to be a scoop. Wow.
Konsta is just going to concede instead.
Incredible. Yeah, the fast concede there. Understandable. Like, whiffing that hard is so unlikely and so unreasonable. And you know the Spiritomb's coming down probably next turn anyway.
I mean,
wow.
I think maybe it's not optimal to scoop there, given that you just played a judge, so maybe and they only have one Comfey in play, right?
Right,
so,
right. It just sucks. Like, just whiffing the attack there, it probably just feels incredibly bad. Yeah.
It's definitely 100% correct to scoop there if you only had 50 minutes, but it's definitely more debatable now that the timer has been extended. 34 minutes off the clock.
Konsta could have Ice Cube there, right? With double turbo in hand?
Could Ice Cube, but it wouldn't take it to KO because Manaphy was on the bench, so you could only do 60 to the cram.
Yeah, right. That is not enough, unfortunately.
I think Energy Mix to the Ice Cube instead of Energy Mix DTE to Mew would have enabled that play, because then you could do 120 with the Ice Cube.
Sure.
But wasn't the route that Konsta went for. Wanted to start attacking with that Mew VMAX as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's the route you go for, assuming you have a semi-normal game from there on.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately did not actually happen for Konsta there.
Right.
The rare crowd shot. This is more seeding than we get at our regionals for finals.
That
for any
true.
Stage match.
It's okay. By finals, I'm out of there. Getting some dinner. I'm watching on stream.
Exactly.
Unless I'm playing, I'm getting food.
I didn't realize there were trekking shoes in Konsta's list. I'm not sure how many there are, but I don't think we've seen any.
This is the first one I've seen.
Might just be like
maybe it's just the one copy.
Respect. Again, useful in situations where you are kind of bricked and just can't.
But why play shoes when you could play Ditto instead? Just kidding.
Ditto for Meloetta.
Boom. Broken.
Mulligan coming down here. Nothing particularly revealing. I think everyone knows everyone's decks at this point anyway.
But 2 Mulligan cards for the Mew.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They get to go first. Have a turn of no Spiritomb happening.
I don't think Konsta's going to break this game, I tell you.
I would have to agree.
It's going to be 3. I think this is Sableye, at least. Greninja is going into the active. I think that was a Mew V off of those mulligans and a Cram-O-Matic. And a VIP. Yeah, this is a much better
Comfeys.
Ooh, that's rough.
2 Comfeys in the prize cards.
Yeah.
What can Arthur do? I mean, Arthur's best bet in this matchup without Drapion has to be 7 Lost Zone, Moonlight Shuriken, or Raikou. Knock out a V, but with 2 Comfeys in Lost Zone, that's nearly impossible. Has to basically find Heavy Ball or a double vacuum.
Right.
Keep with that going.
Your game plan in this matchup is so much harder than it should be, than it needs to be. As the Turbo Lost Box player, when you just don't have that Drapion, even with the cross switchers, like again, it's so hard to get two of them off in a single game, especially with just how much lost zone you end up having to go through. So you are just having to do what you said, like the Greninja into Sableye into Prey, and it's tough. It's asking for a lot.
I wonder if Lost Box players are going to roll up to Toronto with
Drapion.
Drapion now. Konsta making it to at least the finals, if not an
Yeah.
outright win.
Yeah, with this start, looks pretty good. We'll see what happens here. Again, does have Mew and Genesect in hand, so almost a full board off the rip with this VIP pass. Should be able to draw plenty of cards. Should be able to play that Chromatic in hand too. I believe there's an item. Yeah, there's two Chromatics. Oh, jeez, and two Fusion Strike energies. Gonna grab double Mew off of that. And they probably just attach the Fusion Strike to one of the Genesects and then chill out once all the drawing's done.
Yeah, Drapion changes the matchup so much because Konsta now can attack freely with his Mew VMAXs without ever living in fear of it getting revenge KO'd. You can even attack with a one prizer without worrying if it'll benefit your opponent in the prize race.
Chromatic Tails.
First, of course.
No heads. Okay. No. I think that's
just finished. Yeah, looks like a Tails and finishing the shuffle.
Gonna bench the Genesect and the Mew. There's a Meloetta in hand as well, but don't think they're gonna play it.
Attaching the fusion energy to Genesect.
Chromatic again. Heads that time.
Everyone loves their flippy decks, huh? We've seen Lugia on stream. We've seen Fusion Mew on stream.
Lugia doing well. Mew doing well.
Bring back Catcher Mew. Might as well go all in, you know?
Well, we get Counter Catcher Mew soon. Is that anything?
I think, the deck probably should play one Counter Catcher.
Yeah.
I don't know about any more than that.
So Chromatic for another VIP just to get another one out of the deck and grab the Genesect. So can pop two more Genesects this turn before the Spiritomb becomes an issue. It's an Elisa Sparkle.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. And unfortunately means can't attack with anything this turn, but... Oh, no, you're going first, right? Doesn't matter.
Going first, yeah. Does have the Seal Stone too. So, given that Konsta has Elisa's, has Seal Stone active, has a Genesect with the Fusion Energy already attached, right. I think it's safe to say that the attack is going to happen next turn, even if Spiritomb does hit the field.
Super strong position here. Can basically just get three Genesects safe to go underneath Spiritomb regardless.
Oh, okay. So there is a Comfy in this Chorus, but Arthur hasn't searched the deck yet, so doesn't know that two are prized.
Has to take it. So important. Oh no.
He's doing the right play. This is correct with the knowledge that he has, but it's gonna get punished so hard for it. So unfortunate for Arthur here. Gonna have to work with one Comfy until he finds that heavy ball, and it might never come up. It might never show up. You can't search for that heavy ball in any way except for with that V-Star ability. And you don't want to ever V-Star for heavy ball for a Comfy. That feels so bad.
Yeah.
Arthur's searching through the deck, looking through the hand again. There's no way, right? He's saying in his head. There's no way, but unfortunately there is. This VIP pass, next to useless. He grabbed it thinking, surely it gets me at least one Comfy. But no, instead it's going to grab Ditto. No, not the Ditto.
Not the Splup.
I mean, Ditto's one job in this scenario would have been to be prized instead of Comfy being prized. But unfortunately for Arthur, it just didn't work out that way.
That is so brutal. Wow. Literally just had no choice because no other search until that chorus happened.
Yeah, didn't have a search. Arthur 100% made the correct play there. Why would you take one Comfey over two Comfeys, right? That's what VIP Pass is. But sometimes you just get unlucky.
Barely has like any Pokemon to grab in the first place. Has 3 Pokemon to grab here. Ugh. Yeah, what do you do here? What do you grab? Just Tomb and
grab Tomb.
Grab Splup.
You attack with Splup, so you can say it on stream. No, I don't know. I guess there's a vacuum in hand, so I guess you can cram this turn, even with one Comfey, in theory. Yeah, Ditto with that transformative start ability.
Oh, jeez.
Some people say, yeah, it's like playing 5th Comfey, except sometimes it isn't. And this is one of the times where it isn't like playing 5th Comfey, when 2 of them are prized and one of them is lost zoned.
Man, just brutal prizing here, just completely taking Arthur out of this game with that chorus there. And losing Raikou too is just another layer here to make this even harder later. Just being forced to have the Dragonite potentially for game instead of Raikou. 2 energy out the flower selecting, choosing which one to zone here. Gonna get rid of the water.
Two Sableyes and a Psychic taunting Arthur. How can you ever get there with only one Comfey?
Gonna lost zone the Forest Seal Stone before it activated, so that's nice at least, but Konsta does still have 2 more, so it could still happen any other turn here.
The one thing that Arthur has going for him is that cram onto Genesect is one of the best things you can do turn 1 against going against Fusion Mew. Unlike, if you cram a Mew, it usually isn't too useful because they will try to Psychic Leap you the next turn, but that damage is probably sticking on the Genesect. Could be relevant later. So the game, not unwinnable, just really tough. Really tough.
Yeah, it's mostly just going to depend on what happens for Konsta here. Again, Konsta kind of just unrestricted. Does have 2 Genesects rolling freely, even under the Spiritomb. So can still draw a ton of cards here and probably get the pieces needed to get what's desired.
I wonder if Konsta realizes that 2 Comfeys are prized. I mean, Arthur took so long on that deck search and ended up grabbing
probably.
nothing.
Because you always grab a Comfey there, right? Like, literally always. Or maybe Konsta's like, yeah, they just really wanted the Spiritomb down, so...
So here, Konsta, using that first Fusion Strike system, still has access to the V-Star ability if he finds another Seal Stone. The one that he had in play before did get lost zone, so can't use it. But just needs to find some way to get this Genesect out of the active, and then should be good to go. Yeah, the way I think of this matchup is it's definitely a clock. You need to do enough damage as Lost Box. If you attack every turn into your ideal targets, you will win the game as Lost Box. It's just a matter of, can you do that? How many turns do you whiff? If you whiff one turn, that might still be enough to win the game, depending on how much healing your opponent plays. But you can't really whiff more than one turn, and it depends on when your opponent starts the timer, if you will. And Konsta is starting that timer now by taking their first prize.
So Max Miracle coming down from Mew VMAX. Doesn't even have to cross Fusion Strike it. With the 2 Fusion Strike energies, can just Max Miracle straight up.
True.
Cramorant gone now, and Arthur got to figure out a way to get more in the Lost Zone at this point. With Chorus in hand, you do get 7, so at least you could do maybe something if it is drawn here.
Does he have a Chorus? I don't think so.
And that's just it for draws.
Doesn't have more Comfeys.
Wow.
To dig for it.
Brutal. So
this is basically the one turn you're allowed to whiff, and you can't whiff pretty much at all for the rest of the game if you're going to account for your opponent's healing. And I mean, his hand is dead, and your lone Comfey is just going to get knocked out.
Yeah, you have to rope a Sableye here, pretty much.
Oh, no.
Ugh.
I think you give up Spiritomb, to be honest.
I mean, it is still shutting down one Genesect.
No, I would still give up Spiritomb because you don't want to whiff attack. You gotta attack over and over and over again.
Right.
And you don't play Clara either. So I think you give a Spiritomb. You say your opponent is attacking every turn. It's not disrupting you anymore.
Avery coming down? Or being discarded?
Oh, I think it's coming down. So I think regardless, one of these Sableyes is going no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, that's both Sableyes then, potentially. Gonna get rid of the tomb.
Yeah,
This
you
turn?
have to.
Oh. Well, now, yeah, definitely should. Okay, gonna get rid of the Sableye. Yeah,
No,
more
you
reason to
have to
promote
get rid
the
of the
Spirit Tomb
tomb.
there, then, I guess.
The tomb isn't doing anything anymore.
But is Sableye doing anything either? No.
Will it do anything? Probably not. But could it do something in the perfect world where you draw the perfect cards over and over and over again? Yes.
Yeah, I guess Chorus plus Comfey plus a good vacuum is enough to get there.
The play here would be to Chorus into Greninja attack, into Chorus, into Sableye attack, into Chorus, into Sableye attack. And you might be able to still win that way, but looks like it's probably not going to happen.
Super Rod getting zone. There's a Forest Seal Stone,
Seal
but no
Stone.
V.
Ah,
jeez, this is so brutal.
You can vacuum it away to get to 7.
The game paused. I'm going to fix this really quickly. Hold on, we're going to switch back to our feed.
Okay.
Looks like...
Paused at the hypest moment.
Is that really what happened? Wait. I think the VOD hit the 12-hour limit.
No!
I think that's why it stopped. Because I definitely waited long enough. How, where's the VOD? Here it is. No, it should still be fine.
Is that when we caught up with live? Did you like download the VOD or something?
Oh yeah, they just hit like the 12-hour limit. So I gotta switch to Twitch. Hold tight, chat. We will fix this. Let's see, twitch.tv/Pokemon TCG. See, how does Arthur win this game?
I mean, now that one of those Sableyes has been wrecked by Avery, I don't think there's a way, unfortunately. He would have to go Chorus into like Moonlight Shuriken into Super Rod Sableye into Sableye into Sableye into Sableye into Dragonite, something like that.
Right.
Something crazy. But you have to draw basically perfectly and hope that Roxanne doesn't is prized or something or doesn't end up mattering. I would say the odds of Arthur winning this game are less than 5% for sure at this point.
Okay, I'm just double checking exactly the moment we left off on because I don't want to miss anything. So this is 2010. So 3 minutes back. A little bit further ahead. Okay, so this should be good now. Going to switch over and we're going back into the game.
I will say props to Arthur for choosing that VIP pass over the Comfey. I mean, I think it's easy for newer players to be like, man, why didn't you just take the Comfey? It would have been so much better, but it was not the correct decision given that Arthur didn't have the knowledge of the prize cards. Arthur made the right choice, and sometimes the right choice ends up losing the game. That's just how Pokemon is.
Yeah, what are even the odds of prizing 2 of the same card? It's like 5? Less than 5%?
I'll look it up.
It's incredibly unlikely, and getting punished like that on the biggest game of your career is just so brutal.
If you play 4 copies of a card, the probability of that card appearing twice in your prizes is 1 out of 23 or 4.4%.
Cool. Okay, but Arthur plays 5 Comfey because of the Ditto, so what is that?
I do not know that math.
Is that the Avery coming down again? Is that what just happened?
No, I think we just rewinded.
Okay, we're just back to where
we saw the Avery for the first time. Yep. And then we're back.
Okay, yeah. So now we're about back to where we were before. So I think
second Sableye gonna get KO'd.
Yeah, there we go. So vacuum coming down, gonna get rid of the choice belt.
Arthur's deck. We've seen it cross the finish line with barely any gas left in the tank. Can he do it again? It's not looking likely.
Yeah, Arthur's pulled off a bunch of miracles so far in a lot of the games we've seen. So we'll see if something can happen here. It was almost close to another miracle game 1, too. If that just
That's
happened,
true.
this entire series would look so different.
Right. It was so close, just one piece away. And, it wasn't incredibly likely because there were still a couple cards left in deck, but it wasn't incredibly unlikely either. It's probably pretty
Right.
close to 50-50.
Ah, jeez. Okay, concealed cards coming down. Getting 2 more cards here. Has to get something good here. Heavy Ball and Nest Ball. Okay, at least we get another Comfey.
You can't.
Well, you can't switch into it, right? But you can get one.
No, there's 1 in the loss and 2 in the prizes.
No, with the Heavy Ball.
Oh, Heavy
Yeah,
Ball.
yeah.
Sorry. True.
You cannot Nest Ball for it, correct. Is going to Seal Stone here.
The V-Star come through, but the unfortunate part of Dragonite means that the timer just got accelerated. As long as Konsta can find a boss tablet play at some point in the game, the timer is working against you. Not the actual real timer, of course, the prize timer, if you will. You only have so many turns before you lose the game to work with.
Core's coming down. I believe that was what was Seal Stone for. Let's see what's grabbed here.
Arthur needs a switch and an energy.
Oh, what? Why are we seeing this in?
Those are not the Colress targets.
Okay, so there's a gate and a rod. Gonna take that with the Colress. Getting rid of Splup and the basic psychic energy. Suing Heavy Ball coming down. Finally, Comfey is free. One of them at least.
I assume that Arthur only plays 2 psychic energy, which means lost only 1. Pretty tough. I think you're basically relying on Greninja, Moonlight Shuriken into Sableye, Lost Mine. You're at 2 prizes and then Dragonite for the last 2. But the moment that Konsta bosses up this Dragonite, takes a knockout, makes that so much tougher.
Right. Mirage Gate coming down. A lot of options to grab here. I guess looking for Greninja is partially charged up, so looking like I think we're just going for that here.
You do have to Greninja this turn, take 2 prizes, set up a Genesect to be knocked out. The problem is Konsta, he has so many options. If he's hit Switch Cart, that's really awkward. If he hits boss knockout, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Many things that Konsta can do to thwart the plans.
That one Switch Cart, pretty relevant. The one that happened on the Genesect, because otherwise this would have been a KO already.
True. So Sableye needs to come in and do some cleanup work here.
Yep. All the options in the world for Konsta here. Plenty of cards. Multiple Alessas still. I believe that's 3 Alessas in deck then.
Interesting. Looks like we got a head off the cram. What are we looking for here?
Didn't see it was grabbed. A lot of options. Could grab a Disruption, draw supporter.
Disruption supporter, Switch Cart might be good. There is, between the 2 Genesect, I believe 120 HP remaining.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you get one heal off, that would force your opponent to Sableye twice instead of once, which could matter.
There's a Steel Stone, so can grab a Switch Cart if necessary, if not drawn into. Gonna zone the Elisa Sparkle to get rid of the Seal Stone. Helping out Arthur's Lost Zone there. Boss's orders to bring up the Dragonite. That is going down.
Konsta still needs to find 2 tablets, but has access to V-Star, so I like this play. Just needs to find 1 tablet or belt off of 2 Genesects, and I think this V-Star happening means that he did find it.
Does have Judge in hand for next turn, so didn't see exactly what was grabbed off the Seal Stone.
It's tricky for Arthur. If he had access to Raikou, then maybe the line is a little bit more favorable. But
Right.
this Dragonite is basically your only option to close out the game once this knockout comes through. You have to Sableye next turn. Oh, even that is it's not an okay. Well, there's no switch card, so Sableye next turn will clean up 4 prizes. So you have to Sableye next turn, and then you have to Dragonite the turn after. So that's your only option, and finding all the cards you need to Dragonite under heavy hand disruption pressure. I mean, we saw it in that first game. It's really tough. It's really
Right.
tough. Just so many pieces.
Unfortunately, just had to play it last turn to get that Seal Stone to get something going there.
Mm-hmm.
Comfy going to be promoted, looks like. We just got to get the right cards for Arthur here. Playing down the chorus. Good start.
Basically has to Sableye this turn. And then Konsta is going to want to respond with a Roxanne, if possible.
Roxanne and the other Seal Stone hitting the Lost Zone. There's still one more Roxanne. I believe it's already in hand. No, it was in the chorus. It's in deck, yep. So Sableye coming down with that Nest Ball. I believe already is Psychic in hand as well. And just needs to switch. Does have a switch card, so.
Switch card, has a Psychic.
Just has to thin out the deck more so you can make sure you get the play next turn. A lot of pieces you got to hit.
Rod?
Not in hand right now.
Yeah, so needs to find Rod first and foremost.
There's the 2 cross switchers, but not what you want right now. You're just gonna have to do it now. Getting some cards off prizes. Does get chorus off prizes. That's pretty helpful. But this Judge is about to come down for Konsta, probably.
Probably can draw like 1 card or so off the Fusion Strike system to try and find Roxanne. Last ditch effort. But we see Ice Cube coming down. We see an Ultra Ball in hand. So you get to draw a couple to see if you draw Roxanne. And if you don't draw the Roxanne, you play the Judge. No harm done there.
So just playing down, emptying the hands, Ultra Balling Path and Genesect. Thinking about it,
I think you keep the Path.
Path is pretty nice with the Judge Roxanne just to further limit what Arthur's going to get next turn, because Arthur does have to hit a lot of cards, and Path just cutting out the Greninja completely is pretty useful.
I guess there is something to be said about, like, you most likely don't want to discard an energy off of Greninja. You probably need it for attaching to Dragonite the next turn, but I still would keep the Path in hand and discard something else and just play it after your Fusion Strike system. The Roxanne, I don't think.
Arthur wins with Dragonite, Gate, Attach, Cross Switcher. Raikou is Lost Zoned already, so
yeah,
that is the only win condition here.
Unfortunately, Raikou is Lost Zone, and Arthur doesn't play Boss, plays Cross Switcher instead. So an easier card to find because you can support her to find it, but one more piece to the puzzle that Arthur needs. Has to be the Judge of a lifetime.
Yeah. A lot of the problems that have been happening in these very close situations would be solved with just having a boss instead of needing all the extra piece of cross switcher. But it is really nice to be able to chorus and try to draw into the 2 cross switchers. Just getting that extra draw support is super useful, or Roxanne or whatever. So we're getting the retreat here, getting to the other Mew VMAX. Looks like we're just gonna get a Max Miracle. Oh no, Block Slider taking out the Comfey on the bench.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. Really useful again. 3 Fusion Strike energy in play, so it hits for 120. Minus 20 if you have a double turbo attach, which is still more than enough to KO the Comfey.
The hand is bad. You have to like draw it. I mean, the odds were so low for Arthur, unfortunately. It had to be like Super Rod into Chorus.
Right.
Yeah, but not quite getting there. This Judge bricking him completely. can retreat into Comfey to seek Chorus, but at that point, you don't have enough cards to make the play happen.
Yeah, Ice Cube coming in at this point was pretty huge and pretty useful. Just to further limit here, that's a chorus, I believe. So losing a gate. Oh,
yeah. I mean, you have to. You had to have basically played Super Rod before the chorus came down, I think.
right.
Because Dragonite did hit the discard. Raikou already in the lost zone. Like, you'll find the Super Rod now, probably, but what good does it do being in your deck versus being in your hand?
Didn't find it.
Oh, well, even worse.
Yeah, jeez. Don't worry, they have like 3 VIP passes. They're ready to go. Gate and Water is cool, but not without Rod. Man, that first chorus just like dictated everything about how this game went for Arthur. So brutal. Having to get rid of not just the Comfey, the last Comfey in deck, but also the Raikou, which would have been hugely clutch here, and probably might have been able to save them if the draws were a little bit cleaner.
Right. I mean, props to Arthur. I think he has played well pretty much every stream match that we watched him in.
Oh, for sure.
It's not a name that I'm familiar with. Not one of those big names you keep on hearing over and over again, but he's been playing cleaner than pretty much anyone else that I've watched on stream, including myself. So
Turbo's hard to play, and like cross switchers too add another layer of like complexity, right? So just making really clean decisions. Again, just got super unlucky with the first decision of the game. Not really anything you can do about it, and it's basically put him severely behind this entire time.
He made the play that was right 96% of the time.
Yeah.
But that 4% coming through. Super Rod, back Dragonite, some energy, but writing is on the wall. Konsta just a retreat away from closing out this game, down to one singular prize. The best you can do is at this point is cross switcher up a Genesect and Sableye.
Right. I think that might be what we see here. Yeah, going for the gate. And I don't believe there's an instant answer in Konsta's hand to that, but just needs one energy or any switch card, and it will be the end.
Looks like Ice Cube also has one energy cost, so everything on Konsta's field, just one energy away.
He's going to cross switch the Genesect, promote the Sableye, and just has to survive one turn. Oh boy.
Does Konsta have a way out?
Oh, there's the rope.
It is.
Wow.
Escape rope. And congratulations
GG
to Konsta. Both players playing it well. A little bit unlucky from Arthur's side, but also not playing the Drapion, which made the matchup feel very good.
Yeah, Arthur had to work so unbelievably hard for just having a chance in a lot of those games. And Konsta playing really well as well throughout all that. Again, we have Fusion Mew as a winner once again. The deck will never go away. It's back again. Zard can't stop it. Nothing can stop it. I don't know. From what you saw today, Vic, what are your kind of thoughts in the meta going forward?
Put the Drapions back in your decks. No, I'm just kidding. You don't necessarily need to. I think the meta is pretty well established. I think Fusion Mew can have a good run if you dodge enough Zards, and Konsta only playing one in the run made it, very manageable. I think Zard is on the decline, which does make Fusion Mew a better play, and maybe we'll see more of it pop up. But I think there's also validity to all the other decks that we saw today as well.
Right.
The meta is really wide. If you're listening to this, thinking about what deck to play for a future regional or a cup, play what you're comfortable with is my suggestion.
For sure. Big agree. Always just do that if you're not going to be comfortable with whatever you think is the best play or whatever. And echoing a lot of the same thoughts. It's going to be really interesting to see how people react to this win at Toronto in 1 week. Vic and I will both be there. Very excited for that.
1 week, less than 1 week.
Less than 1 week. Gee, oh yeah, it's Sunday. Oh no, I have to practice and prepare. I'm not ready. I have to grind matchups against myself. Yay. But yeah, huge thanks to Vic. Everyone in chat, say thank you, Vic, for helping us through this very long day. This went way longer than we both planned because we both expected this to be like an American regional where they start with like round 13, and they did not. They started the first round of the day, so we only skipped one round. Vic is a trooper. Thank you so much, Vic. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, hanging out. This is kind of just a test, a sample of what we might want to try more of in the future. If this gets done again, we'll probably do a lot more kind of with it, a lot more fancier stuff. But this is kind of just a test run to see how it would work and interest in it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to keep Vic here any longer. So we're going to end here. Any last words, Vic?
See you all at Toronto, hopefully. Etchy and I.
Yeah, see us in top 8 at Toronto.
Format. Yeah, see us in top 8. Feel free to say hi. And thank you to you for having me on. It's my dream to be a caster, so I'll take experience anytime.
Yay! Yeah, everyone hire Vic, and I'll be back with more TCG stuff soon. Again, also all these VODs are going up on YouTube. If you're already watching on YouTube, hi, thank you. Please subscribe. I'll post the link again in chat. I already had it copy pasted. I'm so ready. Definitely go subscribe to that. All these VODs will go up there. All 8.5 hours of VODs are I can't believe we streamed for that long today. Oh my god. All right, I'm not going to keep talking. I need to free you. So thank you again, everybody. See you next time.